Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. We're going to go back to the boat theory, the Aruba, which was supposedly went off, technically offline, the day Jay went missing, or even before that, according to this guy.
Got some new information on Jay Slater case. Obviously, could this be the boat that may have took Jay? It's called the Maruba, and on June the 16th at 13:26 UTC time, it was in the middle of the sea. That's its number there, and it was carrying a Belgian flag. You can see these places here, and it's not
So that was technically the day before Jay went missing.
been seen for 8 days. That's the last time its position was given to whoever. Los Cristianos, Jay's area right up there, and the boat's there. You can see the time there, the exact GMT time, like English time, but supposedly in 4 in the morning, half 4 in the morning, it was at Tenerife. So 8 days ago.
That's odd. That is odd. That is odd. I think if that boat was around the Los Cristianos, bay, that would make a lot of sense that a boat may have been involved in Jay's disappearance. But like I said, we've seen videos on the internet of some guys, looks like a body wrapped up onto the boat. It was very, very suspicious and got taken down a lot, so there's got to be some truth in it, I think, if videos get taken down. And it was around about the disappearance, that video actually come up of Jay Slater going missing,
Which not been seen basically the day of literally when Jay went missing. It's a bigger screen here, and it's 8 days ago by AIS. The vessel is sailing at a speed of 6 knots. Maruba number, the sailing vessel, and currently sailing under.
It is odd. It is very, 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 very odd. Like I said, there's a big possibility a boat was involved. But one thing I wish the police had said more about it in what they think. Because like I said, there weren't enough reports about it. And I think a lot of people eventually sort of writ her off a little bit. I'm open to a lot of things. There's a possibility that Jay was taken to his final destination by boat and carried up some of the mountain and put into the ravine. I think that's 100% possible. We got another guy who is on about Jay Slater may have been taken by boat. Listen to this. This is interesting.
I spoke to someone yesterday, won't mention his name, an interesting concept. I watched his live last night, and this lad's gone to a lot of trouble, a lot of investigative work to be fair, and he believes, his opinion is that Jay was taken offshore on a boat, and he's actually pinpointed this particular boat down that came to the shoreline just 2.5 k's away from where Jay was last seen with those two men. This boat leaves the island not long after the last sighting of Jay, goes out.
It's very, very, very strange. Very, very strange. Why a boat would be seen around the area Jay went missing. And it is very, very suspicious.
Goes out, does a funny manoeuvre in the sea, and then turns its homing beacon off. Completely turns its homing beacon off, and
that's suspicious.
Goes off grid. Then comes on grid quite a long time later. So his theory was that Jay is actually off the island. Now, as a theory, it's quite interesting, isn't it, really? So that's gone to a lot of effort in looking into the details of it, and has actually booked, or is booking, his flight to Tenerife. But his theory is interesting nonetheless, and it's one that you can't dismiss because it's a possibility. and actually all the forces are on the land looking, and maybe he's off the land, maybe he's on a boat. Thinking outside the box, not a bad theory. Yes, I know the Guardia have air and sea, and the Guardia also have drones, etc. But
does make you wonder. You know, it really does make you wonder why his body wasn't found earlier. And people have said, have lived out in Tenerife, and that it's hard to go missing there unless someone wants you to go missing. One of the messages I received was someone who seems to know the young guy in the middle, and he goes on to say the guy she's trying to say is Jay is the Scouse rat. He stabbed Jay. The hand sign he's throwing up is the devil's horn. It is also means murder. Wow. And I've had other messages over the last month that had saying the same thing, because like I said, I didn't know what to think of it because there was so much going on with the case, but it certainly makes sense. So this person who sent me it, who seems to recognise the person in the middle, his nickname is Stabber, and I wonder why that is. Someone else goes on to say, my theory on the watch is that if someone was robbed of such an expensive watch, they would have surely made a case with the police, right? Has someone reported a stolen watch in that time? I think not. So I think there was no watch stolen. It was just a pre-planned reason for him turning up at the bottom of a cliff in case it doesn't get dismissed as a self-imposed accident. I agree with that. I never made a big issue of the watch, to be honest with you, because I think it was just a front to go with the narrative of the story made up. Someone else said, I have said that I thought Ophelia had seen someone who looked like Jay, but wasn't Jay. Don't forget the boat theory. Obviously, we've been talking about that. They put him on the boat, kept him a while, and entered Masca Beach when disruption of animals happened and placed him there. That's a massive possibility. A lot of people, more than ever, seem to be talking about that now. Jay was never at the Airbnb. I've always thought this. I really have always thought that, because there was no proof of him really being there. And that picture of him on the doorstep having a fag, I don't think that was him, to be honest with you. And again, it was just to paint a picture for us to believe that he was there, which is a story for everyone to follow, to whereby in theory the kid must have been murdered. Ebb is a covering up for Brad and Brandon. I think the bag got lost in front of Brad and Brandon, so whatever happened after two boys. No, I agree. Someone else says, I don't think Jay stole anything. I think it all ended on the beach. I agree. I think if really people go back and look at the scenarios, that beach tends to be a bit haunting for me. And like I said, where possibly Jay lost his life or got injured there. But it is really sad. I think Lucy, Brad and Brandon know what happened to Jay, but have been told to keep quiet, otherwise they could be in trouble as well. I do think that AUP is definitely keeping an eye on them. Someone else said, this is interesting, Jay looked petrified as soon as he realised what he had done when he gave the bag away at the rave. At that scene, you know, was he a little bit wrecked at that time and didn't know what he was doing? Because the guy who he gave the bag to seemed to be smiling a little bit. People think that, you know, it might have been Tom or one of Tom's mates. Can someone elaborate on that? That's interesting, about the scar on the side of, you know, Tom's head, which have come to light in recent days, and YouTubers have been picking up on that. And this person went on to say, this seems to have been forgotten. His body was later dumped in the mountains to make the story fit, but I don't think he survived the car journey up there. I don't think he did. And that's where maybe the boat could have come into action there to carry him, offshore. There's enough suspicion to bring them all in for questioning. The question is, why hasn't it already happened? I think we've got to look at why the parents haven't said anything. And this is a message that someone sent to me. I mean, this is quite disturbing. It's the same guy who says that little scouse rat in the middle stabbed Jay. He is Abe and Rocky's trigger boy. Stabber boy, that's his nickname. Them three killed him. All his friends fear to talk because these three have threatened them. Yeah, I agree. I've always said that Brandon, Brad and Lucy are afraid of the consequences if they say anything. Someone else said the watch was nothing more than a red herring to get us to look elsewhere over there instead of them. Jay was handed over to the big guys by his own friends. It was either one of them or him to be taken. That's a possibility. If drugs were actually lost, that's a possibility. It could have moved on to the next stage. I mean, Lucy seemed to me that she was in charge of the boys and one of them had to go. Yeah, that's possible. It was definitely not an accident, someone else said, who accidentally walks off a cliff and chooses to go off-road, and no one would choose to do that. Thank you for your video, Marvin. You're a true legend. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hopefully massive investigations will go ahead. We hope so. Lucy has to be involved, or at least knows what happened. Yeah, she 100% know what happened. I mean, she was the one who set up the Go Fund less than 24 hours after we went missing, and for 30 grand. Why a Pacific amount at the end of the day? I think, was Jay possibly alive in those 24 hours previous to her setting it up? That's a possibility, but it makes you wonder after those 24 hours what happened, why that scenario changed, but we probably will never know. If you steal a watch, the last thing you want to do is incriminate evidence showing you have it. I think it was Abe's and Rocky who did the stealing of the watches and took a voter. Maybe that's a possibility, but like I say, someone else says Rolex is underground slang for coke, and I agree with that. Whoever took that picture of the blanket is wearing blue ammo. I can see blue in the reflection against ammo. Yeah. Red herring, the watch. I agree. I just think it was a front to go with a narrative to make the story sound as though Jay just went missing. I keep thinking if Jay owed money, surely the money would be more likely to be returned if he was alive. Yeah, that's a possibility as well. But like I said, if he'd been taking stuff and overdosed and they didn't know what to do with it, at the end of the day, to do with him, and eventually take him offshore and then dump him, that's probably the reason why they actually done it. I'm really actually starting to think at the end of the day, did Jay pass away in that car? There's a possibility, yeah, he was stabbed, and there's a possibility that I said he overdosed as well, and they've had to get rid of him. Someone else said, I did mention it, I said this from the beginning, he's been sacrificed, but everyone said I was crazy. It did look kind of crazy before, but I'm not writing it off now. Not what I've heard and what Jay's mum said does actually make me think that this is a bit more deeper, and I've said that in yesterday's video, a bit more deeper than what I first thought. Someone said stabbed on the beach, revenge on snitching on a friend who attacked Tom Hilton. Possibility Tom Hilton's name's been brought up a lot, but I think the scenario is about that the missing bag and what was ever in it. And someone said, like I said, one of them had to take the rap, and it was Jay. Someone said, I think Debbie is right, the watch could have put on his arm and the voter taken and sent by Jay's phone to his group app. Yeah, that was weird. That seemed like a setup to me. Arctic Nick went on to say, I suspect that Ophelia is paid indirectly by her brother, the criminal ex-mayor. I somehow do not imagine money passing hands directly between Ahab and Ophelia. I've got a feeling that Ahab knows Ophelia from back in the day, should I say, and obviously Ophelia's brother, who is the dodgy landlord. So let me know what you think of you about obviously the boat scenario, Jay in the back of the car. Many people just think he was out of it, he may have been dead. Some thoughts of actually coming, which is very, very, very sad. And was he ever at the B&B? B&B, that's an Airbnb, that's the other question people have asked me, and I've always, majority of my videos, I've always said I don't think he was ever there. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment. I'm about to have some dinner now. Take care, bye. So we move on to this video where I think it tells us a bit of a story. Listen to this, and I've got, someone's messaged me about the boy in the middle. I'll just play this quickly.
I'm just going back to that video that I did of Kasim's Instagram. They're stood on those blocks. It's sunrise. If you haven't seen it, go scroll down my profile. I managed to work out just exactly where that location was taken. Sorry, the photo was taken, sorry guys. Yeah, so I managed to work that out, and I did put in the video, has anyone gone to search that area? So just behind them there's like a massive area of terrain, mountains, etc. Obviously it could mean nothing, could mean something. But yeah, I've tried passing information on, but I don't know if they've gone and checked there. I mean, yeah, here's the location. So it's all of this location here. So as you can see, it's Mirador de Sheriff. I don't know how to say it. But that is where the binoculars are at the top. That's where the photo was taken with the guys. And all of this land here is behind. Obviously it could mean nothing. But yeah, I've asked and seem to be not getting any replies, so obviously it could just mean nothing, but it was taken, that photo was taken about 4 days after, and it was around the sort of time that Jay was supposedly heading to the apartment. If you haven't seen my Kasim's Instagram.
So someone messaged me to say that the kid in the middle, because people were wondering who they were, and this person, you know, I've got to be careful how I word this, because this person went on to say that little scout rat, the one in the middle, so he's talking about this one here, generally what they said, that he works for Ahab and Rocky, and he's a trigger boy, and they give him a nickname as Stabber Boy. And then he goes on to say he believes obviously the three of them were involved in the disappearance, and the others who were involved, your Brandon, they've been threatened not to say anything, as I thought. And I replied, who is he? Obviously the guy in the middle. This was beforehand, I was told all this. And he's one of Ahab's lives with Rocky. They called him LK, he's from Liverpool. So this person who sent me this information obviously recognised this guy as this young kiddie as being bad news and working for Ahab. There's more messages. Someone else said the voter with the blanket wasn't Jay. He was wearing white trainers, not black and green. Brad was wearing the black and green, and he was spotted wearing them at the creme. Very, very true. I just think that was a front. And again, the narrative for the actual story